Hello and welcome everyone to League of Europe. Here is for season 11 we have Division 3 and it's just going to be QVR Verstappen for today, commentating, taking you through it as Cool the Boy is not available. So round 8 of the championship here in Australia, as was obviously the real life Grand Prix for anyone obviously watching that later on. For the Americans tonight, I guess. For the Europeans, very early morning. Luckily, this one will remain at its own time. We're going to go and have a quick look at the championship standings, because they've altered quite a bit. Cam K is now leading the championship after his win in Baku last week. Very chaotic race that was. He's on 161 points, 11 points behind his MCR on 150. Those two have seemed absolutely clear for this season and the most consistent point scorers. Then it's Ryan being in third place with 105, still without a podium, strangely enough. So he might want to change that today. Ikaz Mats is in fourth place, 101 points, and it's Major Falcon in fifth. And 85, Bolstein is in 6th and 78, Steban in 7th on 76, Mr. Wouters in 8th on 75, Harry Noirk in 9th on 65, and around at the top 10 we have IIT Crack on 51 points. So let's see how this is going to go. I got 19 drivers today, so pretty decent setting for the grid. One driver having not raced before, Glowstick, replacing Ibo in the Alfa Romeo. So let's see how he's going to get up to it. He has been in the league before. It hasn't raced that much. So let's see if that it's going to be a better showing for him today. As for the track itself, Alba Park used to host, obviously, the first race of the season. Now it's usually race 3 after Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. And here's going to be race 8, so we get over the halfway point into the season, obviously 14 races. It's going to be a fairly interesting one. It's usually one that favors wheel drivers, and you know, it just so happens to be that our top 3 in the championship, for example, is on the pad, so you might get a few little upsets here and there, hopefully. Get some excitement going on. Actually, there's always a chance of rain, which Jav was begging me to mandate. Practically, I was talking to him before the race, but it's all nice and sunny out here, at least for qualifying. So we're gonna have to see if that's gonna stay the way it is. Obviously, this track got revised a couple of years ago with a bit more straight line speed sections. Makes it a pretty weird track because you need the low downforce, but you also kind of need high downforce for the slower parts, especially at the beginning and the end of the lap. So we're going to have to see who's going to adapt to that the best. And obviously quite a few DRS zones, 4 in total. I think it's the most of any other track on the calendar. So this could be a fairly exciting one. Excuse me if my camera work is a little bit slower. I'm obviously not quite used to it as much. But we're going to do our best. And obviously my cameras are a bit adjusted to driving in itself as well, as opposed to the broadcast. I'm just going to adjust the audio mix so I can hear myself properly. Otherwise it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. Let's see if that's better. I think it's decent enough. So let's see, Major Falcon, the first car out on track. Obviously last season's Division 4 champion. Has had a solid season, 1 podium, but nothing outstanding we've seen from him, I don't think. So let's see if he can change that today. This should, in theory, I think be a track that could suit him. We're going to have to see if he can live up to that. He's currently 5th place in the championship. He wants to contend for the championship. He's going to have to try his best to get a bit higher up, get a bit more excellent results instead of just the decent ones, but it's a long way to go. 14 corners on this track makes it still a fairly interesting one, and we're going to see how the German navigates that. Let's go on board with him. As I'm just gonna turn the UI off. Hopefully don't catch any validations as we head out of the final quarter. And the German opening up in the Mercedes, DRS open for the first time here. And heading down towards turn 1. You want to brake around the 100 meter board just after that. Clip the curb on the inside a little bit. Gets a little unsettled, but not too bad as we head through turn 2 into the next DRS zone. Once again, look for the black marker board on the top left. It's usually your braking points. Turn 3 and turn 4 can be difficult on traction here. You use all the track as you can. Flat out through turn 5. And heading down in towards the section where Albon has ridden off his car, making Logan Sargent not able to race as we head through 6, 7 and 8. And this is now all flat out, obviously not longer a chicane. DRS open once again there, you had a little beep. As we head down to what is now turn 9 and 10, the sector 2 split around here. We'll have to see later on what that is. And left, right, a very quick chicane, very deadly. No doubt someone will crash there. So we're gonna see who that is gonna be. Braking down in towards turn 11. You can brake quite late, use a lot of the curb there, which Major Falcon does quite nicely. Heading through turn 12 now, braking into 13. Difficult brake zone, easy to rear lock. And a little bit unsettled there as well for the Mercedes, but accelerating out of here. And once again, DRS open. Let's see how this is going to end up for the German. And across the line, a 118.1. It's a solid enough lap. We'll have to see how that compares to other drivers. We've seen one of the Alfa Romeos, Ultimate Mr. Pro, in 19.4. A little bit off the time of the German. And I think the other Mercedes just come around to do a lap on the mediums in 19.1. Solid enough. As I was taking a bit of a sip of water, we've seen that MCR has actually managed to beat Major Falkenstein by a significant amount, 4 tenths and a 17.7. Seeing once again this qualifying pace from the Spaniards, putting him at the front, and that's obviously very valuable. Equals Mats, also a good lap here, 79. Couldn't race last week because of some issues. I hope it's sort of resolved now. As a glow stick has managed to put himself into P1 with a 17.6. Solid lap there for the Alfa Romeo, the Scotsman. And that's quite a way to make a mark early on here in this session. We have to see if anyone can top that later on. Obviously not too far ahead of MCR right now. But it's a good show in there for the Alfa Romeo Reserve. So yeah, on board with Energetics there, just gone a little bit too deep into turn 1 and crashing nearly out, but managed to keep in the session. But front wing is gone. 17.5 in the meantime for Steban, taking off that first position from Glowstick. I'll be happy with that, I think. Let's have a look. Where is Bosnia? Because he's on the lap. 45.3 is okay. I don't think it's going to be right at the front, but we'll have to see as we head through turn 11. Looks pretty nice. Aston Williams going through turn 12. And braking deep into turn 13. A little bit off the apex, but not too bad. And accelerating out of there goes the Williams, and DRS open. We're going to see the time is an 18.7 only. So P8 for the time being. I think I'll be hoping for better later on. Just serve around. I think most of the first runs are done, apart from the people who haven't gone out yet or just out for the first run now. So obviously strategy can play into this quite a bit. We're gonna have to see if people are just gonna save a few sets. We see Camk do it often. Just saving a set extra to make sure you have that option in the race. And if he then still can manage to put in a good lap later in the session, that is probably the right thing to do. Another one. We need to see a lap from his IRT Crack. Obviously one of the quicker drives there, but putting a result together, it seems to be a struggle for him often enough. So let's see if the McLaren can manage to do that better around Australia. I reckon this is also attracted to shoot him, but I don't want to get ahead of myself there. So let's see how he actually does as he breaks down into turn 1, 4th gear, and accelerating out of the turn 2, using all of the curb everywhere, and then towards turn 3. A pretty difficult corner there because you can brake quite late, but it's also easy to just misjudge it completely. So Seen it pretty nicely done from the McLaren so far. As a 26.9 is chosen purple. Let's see if that actually is going to be the case. But it could well be. It's a pretty solid sector, that. So we head through this long flat out section. We'll see a lot of switching positions here. I want to call it overtakes more than not. 44.7. This time not purple. But heading through turn 9 and 10 look quite clean. And now down towards turn 11. Let's see what the McLaren can manage here. Third gear. Accelerate, maximize the revs there. Hold fifth even through turn 12, using a lot of the curb there on the exit. Breaking out into 13. Looks all clean. Little bit of a slide there. That might cost him a 10 for 2. But let's see if he can get himself close towards the time of his teammate across the line. Yeah, he can. Just about 2 tenths behind MCR with a 17.8. It's not bad whatsoever. I'm gonna have to see, because someone else is on the lap as well. This is Jav, but he's actually abandoned it. And it's invalid right now. A few more drivers that haven't set a lap just yet. They're just trying to get out of the way of people. It can be quite difficult around here, because the race line can differ a little bit, especially for that flat out section. As it's quite twisty, so you just be aware of where you're going, and it should be all fine. Seen Major Falcon, I think, on his second run, heading through turn 2. Again, 18.1, puts him P7 currently. He's going to hope for better, I think, from here. Big slide there on the exit for turn 3, though. It's not going to help him too much. But let's see down towards the sector 1 split if it's going to be better or not. And the answer to that is that it's marginally better, 8 thousandths to be exact. So he's got his time to gain probably in sector 3. Actually, sector 2 is, yeah, it's about a corner long. So we're seeing 45 thousandths now. It's a bit up there. Sector 2 seems purple, but we'll have to see. So a similar split for IoT Crack earlier. So I think we could see him around there. Big slide there on the exit of 11 once again as well. Can happen quite a lot on a partial street circuit, obviously, that Alba Park is. And once again there, the slides are kicking in here and there. And it looks almost like the real life Mercedes at this point. Across the line, the German, slight improvement, but no position gain for the Mercedes here. 18 flat. Stephen has left the session. Let's hope he can get back in time to complete more laps and try to defend his pole position. Harry Newark with an improvement, an 18.4, not bad whatsoever. We're going to see MCR here come across the line, and he is going to get himself into P2, 17.6, just under a tenth behind Steven in the Alpine in P1 currently. I'm going to have to see if he can get back in. James, first lap on the softs here, across the line, 18.4, just shy of Harry Newark's time there. Not too bad, to say the least. Camke starting on a lap there. I'm gonna filter through his, I think that is glow stick. He's just pitting again though. So he might have been on a lap, abandoned it for whatever reason that is. Just a few drivers starting the laps here as well. Mr. Burrow's going back into the pits here after a failed lap. I think that's most of it right now, so let's have a look at Cam K. What his first lap brings, 26.9, not too bad. Should get himself near the front. It says it's purple, we'll have to see if that's the case. So when the Mercedes cars is getting out of the way, DRS open here for the American. And sector 2 split is going to be a 44.5. That is very solid, as we are to be expected from him, I think. So we head down towards turn 11. Obviously, we saw in Formula 3, Nicolas Soloff and Alex Dunn having a little bit of an accident there, which may or may not have been intentional. We're going to see, hopefully, none of that today here. Camke with a big slide there again on the exit of turn 13. It seems to be one drivers are struggling with quite a bit, unless it's helping them. Across the line the Repo goes and into P3, just 21,000 shy of MCR, which is obviously the driver he's going to be looking at the most. But he's not doing too bad to be right behind him on his first attempt. Swip coming towards the line. 19.7 becomes a 19.1. And then Energetics with a 19.6 actually. Pretty mediocre lap to be honest. Hopefully he can improve later on. Jav is on a lap as well, but he's not using ERS here now. So I think he's abandoned it. Yeah, he's gonna go back into the pits with no lap on the board for him, Flip or Axel here. They're gonna do it later, so Jav is struggling to stop for the pits properly. So Energetics has now crashed out, interestingly enough. That is a pretty hefty one. That's pretty much what Albon did without the wall riding in the end. So not too great, and I've got a little bit of intel that we might have a wet race on the horizon here as well. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the case. That could be very interesting. And throw a few spanners into the works here. Maybe Jav has rigged the lobby a little bit too much there. Fortunately for the other drivers, I guess. But obviously, in the West, you want to get a bit of track position, so you know you might have to look to setting a lap first for. He's going to do it properly. I think Crack was on a lap, but hasn't quite managed to. It probably is backed off. Both Haases are not quite on a lap either. And then it's NSX Bosnia who is on a lap, slightly up. Let's go on board with the Williams. It's the only real threat out on track currently. Let's see if we can improve. His Sector 1 didn't look too great. Slight improvement, but the 27.2 is a bit off the top time so far. And Sector 2 splits, a bit of an improvement there. 2 tenths now up. 6th gear holding it through turn 9 and 10. Quite safely done actually by NSX Bosnia here. Braking nearly to 50 meter board. This just shows how late you can brake. All the way down to 2nd gear. And now heading into turn 12. Down into turn 13. Bit wide there. Switching it back from the inside to the outside, to the inside, to the outside. DRS open once again. And across the line he goes. Well, decent improvement there. An 18.4. But I'm afraid that might be it for his session. Unless he has enough fuel to go again and enough ERS to build back up. I'm gonna have to see about that. RT Crack. See that on the lap? He is 2 tenths up actually for second run. So Steban has rejoined, but Crack has barely rejoined the track and has lost a bit of his front wing, and that's going to be the session for him done. He's obviously still in it, but you gotta be careful not to get disqualified there by driving backwards. Beware of that. He got away with it that time, I think. But that's it. Steban does rejoin at that point. I don't think anyone was on the lap, so it's not even going to bother them, even though you don't really get any lag spikes of some sort. That used to be a thing, but I don't think it's anymore. And most drivers just on their outlaps, about 3 minutes to go in this session. We're going to see who is going to be able to. And then if it is wet like that, I don't quite get the strategy of Flip and Axel here, because they've stayed into the pits for practically the whole session. Axel's like now gone out because you won't need to save tires for you if it's wet. Like that doesn't make much sense. Anyway, let's go around. James is on the lap, 27.1, slightly down this time. Sway Ross was 3 tenths up, actually 26.7, very quick first sector time, but is invalid, I presume, after turn 6, as he's letting a few cars through here and there. So let's go on board with James Head then. See if we can find some improvements in sector 2. Slightly, half a tenth up. And now obviously the part where you can gain the most, but you can lose the most. He goes very wide there. See, that's gonna go. So Crack has now left the session. Interesting. Mr. Perro is also retired. He has crashed the same spot Energetics did earlier. Let's see what James can do as he heads through turn 13 and into 14. And let's see, across the line. Slight improvement there once again for James. An 18.2 is probably what he's going to have to live with for the rest of this. Let's look around for other drivers on laps. Glowstick is on 1, MCR is on 1. Most drivers are going to be on 1 right now. Nearly 2 tenths up is Glowstick here. He's going to contend for that pole position. Crack has now rejoined, but that's going to be it for him. He's not going to be able to participate anymore. So keep an eye on Glowstick. Let's see if he can improve. I think he's the next one up anyway. And into the last quarter, gets a little bit on the grass, and he is very aggressive driving from the Scotsman. A lot of oversteer there as well. But let's see if he can get himself into pole position now. Cross the line, yes he can. 17.4 there for the Alfa Romeo. And that seemed pretty scruffy in the end there. So let's see if anyone can actually beat that. Everyone now on their laps. MCR slightly down in the Sector 2 split, but has he found any time in Sector 3? The flag is out. Yes, he has. 17.3 there for the Spaniard. It's going to put him into a provisional pole once again. Slayer is not going to finish that lap properly. Jav going to be across the line here for his one and only lap. Only a 19.4 into P16. And one of the Alpines here as well. Matt's not improving. He is done. Swayros not improving. Major Falcon did improve, and he's gone to 17.5. Good lap for the German. Steban slightly down on his time, Sector 2. Can finish it. Not quite an improvement either for him. Axel's retired. He's not made it. Somehow crashed there, which is a very odd spot. James is done there. Then the Red Bulls we're going to have a look at. 2 tenths up is Ryan B. Let's see if we can find more in Sector 3. Obviously the biggest sector, running low in the ERS though, is going to cost him a little bit down towards the line, but it's 18.1 is only going to be a slight improvement in the end. Let's see what Harry Newark and Cam K can do. Harry Newark first, across the line, 18 flat into P9. Cam K, a slight improvement, 1,000 ahead of Major Falcon, and only 4,000 behind Steban. They're making it very close together, but I think that's going to be it, because the close stick is the only last one to go back into the pits, and the rest of them are all finished, with MCR taking yet another pole position, and another pole position point there for the Spaniard. Just to run you through the rest of the grid right now, MCR on pole position and ahead of Glowstick. They'll be in the front row with this presumably wet race. Let's hope that's all set and well. Frozen Span is in the work. Then Steban and Cam came third and fourth. Then Major Falcon fifth. IoT Crack sixth. And Eagles, Mats and Swayros ran out the fourth row, with Arnoark and Ryan B ending out the back end of the top 10. James Head starting 11th alongside Bosnia. They'll be looking to make some ground up in the race. Slayer, Swip making all half 7th row, with Ultimate Mustapur in 15th. Then it's Jav in 16th. Energetics, Flip, who we haven't actually seen all session there, and then Axel rounding out the grids, just retiring at the end there as well. And we're going to see if it is actually going to be wet as we load in. It looks dry to start out with, but it does look very, very cloudy. And this could provide some very interesting things. Obviously, in any scenario, it is a 2-stop. Let's make that clear. So strategy is going to be all up to play for. Normally, I'd suggest a soft medium around here. Hard tire, not a bad tire. So if you want to play those in as well, that is not a bad option either. But we're going to have to see if anyone is going to go for that, or that they're just going to start on a soft tire. Because if it looks like this, and we're going to have rain pretty soon, which could be the case, yeah, we could be in for a pretty difficult start here. We're going to see everyone trying to make position and be very aggressive. We're going to have to see what tires start on. We expect quite a lot of softs and mediums potentially here. So let's see if that's going to be the case. As it does look like we're getting on with the formation lap, excuse me. And let's have a quick look where everyone's going to start on. And as I suspected, no one on the hards to start out with, as Ecos Mats has now left the session. Hoping he can resolve the issues, or that it's just too bad right now for him to race. That would be very unfortunate for him. So let's see about that. But we're seeing just medium softs First driver on soft is Camk in 4th place. We have Crack in 6th as well. Matt is rejoining, so let's hope he can figure this all out. Harnork in 9th on softs. Then James, Bosnia Slayer in 11th through to 13th. All on the softs as well. Jav and Energetics in 16th and 17th, also choosing for the Red Bull tyre. Everyone else that I haven't mentioned is on the mediums. And it could be very interesting if this race is going to get wet. Everyone is just going to try to break the stint through to the Intis, what you normally say. However, with the 2-stop rule, it might be beneficial if you can, if the rain doesn't come until the halfway point, it might be beneficial to make 2 stops or do 2 dry stints before that wet stint. So that's a choice you're going to have to make either way. And we're going to see quite a lot of interesting things. I think we saw it earlier this season in the Spain Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. Saw people opting for very different strategies. And I think in the end Camke managed to win that one, if I'm not mistaken. Because he picked the right strategy there. We're going to see how that falls out as we see Glowstick doing a little bit of a spin there on the exit of turn 11. Just getting his car back around. His rears are going to be cooked. So let's see how this going to go out. As for a race win, I don't know. This is such a tight grid. MCR has put himself in a very good position to try and go for it. But I'm very excited what Glowstick's going to bring here in his first proper race. In this division this year anyway, so could be in for an exciting one if his race pace does live up to his quality pace. I'm just trying to find any sort of camera that isn't showing the most awful view I could actually have, which is not the case, so thanks Codys for not having proper cameras here. So let's just wait out here and hope it resolves itself. In the meantime, we're gonna see the 5 red lights go on. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we have a drive-through penalty for Axel as away we go. Let's see who's gonna get the best there. Just trying to get a better camera. There we go. Glowstick seems to have a great start there, and he's on the inside of MCR right away. Side by side through turn 1 and 2. Still side by side. And the exit there, bit of hassle in behind as well, but MCR looks to get ahead of the Scotsman, looking back down the inside, but backing out of that one, bit of a hassle in behind as well, with Steban, a major foul, and Camke. We've seen, I think, a car around IIT Crack potentially come around, as well as James Head seeming to be around at turn 3, a few 3-second time penalties there actually on the exit of turn 4, might be a few that could get removed. Harner War going around as well, coming through turn 5, very chaotic start, more casualties, it's Flip. It's gone, and Hartnell has actually been disqualified from driving in the wrong way. What a mental start this has been. Not the front though, as MCR has retained that lead. Steban looking to pounce here on the back of Glowstick. Let's see if he can do that. On the exit chicane, I think Glowstick just got a bit more speed there. Looking further back, and it takes Bosnia and Eagles Matt side by side coming through turn 11. Still side by side on towards turn 12, gives each other enough space. They do that, and Bosnia stays ahead there. So Crack has now already mustered. Oh, that was not great. As Axel's trying to get into the pits for his drive-through, but I think Ecos Mass is damaged now as well. So MCR sets the fastest lap. This is a mental start. Not all the best ways, I don't think. But we already have a bit of a top 7 established here. A gap from Swayros to Bosnia. He's going to do that quite quickly. Slayer is, I think, going round as well. Oh, struggling a lot there. Potentially having some damage as well. It doesn't look too heavy anyway. And now in the top 7, we only have one single soft runner, which is Camke. And he's going to want to make up positions early on. Let's see. He's in the back of Major Falcon here already. Let's see when he can go through. He lost the position actually to start because he started ahead. But using a lot of battery to try and do that. He's not quite succeeded at it just yet. Might be struggling with just not having enough straight line speed right now. He seems to be all over the German in the corners, but it's not quite enough to muster up a move just yet. He goes towards the outside here though, through into turn 11, bit of grass on the exit, but in the entry anyway. And that is going to prevent him from actually making that move stick. So he's going to have to try to go again. But he's already down to 24% battery. With Major Falcon actually being low on fuel. We see Esteban having a bad rejoin there on the exit off to turn 13. That's going to catch out Major Falcon potentially. Open a move, and we already have Rain. It is lap 3 of the race. And this is already throwing a spanner in the works of certain drivers who are hoping to go long, especially Ecos Mats is pitted onto hards, unfortunately for him. And DRS is enabled, but for how long is that going to stay the case? Major Falcon, in the meantime, trying to get through on Esteban, and that one time he has gone through. So up to P3, but he's got a bit of a gap to close down towards the top 2. We've now got a little bit of a breather, but it's not quite enough just yet. Both Red Bulls following through suit, and an AlphaTauri behind as well. The Energetics has picked up a position, and now we see see how it work retiring. I was kind of confused by that because I thought he was already disqualified, but oh well. We see Ecos Mats immediately switch off his heart and go to the Inter. So yeah, maybe not the easiest strategy to call to make, but he's already made 2 stops, I guess, because that's the way to go. Brian B is looking for a move on his teammate here actually, but backs out of that one for now. Let's go back to the front because Glowstick is hounding the back of the McLaren of MCR quite closely. 3/10s here for this last sector. It's a pretty close margin. So he has a big slide there coming through the last corner. It's going to cost him a lot of time. We see Steven already pit in, and it's a virtual safety car, and that's going to prevent the top guys from pitting. Steven and Ryan B just got in time, Bosnia didn't. And we're going to see a lot of Inters here being put on, I think, because it looks heavy. It looks to be coming down quite quickly. I think the Inters, Mats probably would have been telling Esteban to go to Inters potentially. I'm not too sure. But it does look like the Inters might be the best choice. And I think Esteban is going to be extremely happy with this. Look at it. It's already... I've seen already some marks on the track. And it usually means that it's Inters already. Virtual safety cars are going to remain for the time being, which is allowing the likes of Jav, Slayer, James, and even Energetics to pit onto Inters here. With still a few staying out. Mr. Furrow trying to stay out. That's a bold one. As well as Sweat. DRS is back enabled. Again, for how long, we don't know. Major Falcon is now, for this VSC period, caught up. But I think all these guys are going to go into the pits this lap. I'd be very surprised if not, because look how heavy it is. The spray is already coming off the tires. This is going to go straight to Inters in just a second. As we're seeing IoT Crack make a move on Sway Ross here. Sway Ross maybe dropping back a bit, maybe having to make a mistake or something. He seems to be struggling quite a lot. Let's see what the gap is from Steban. There's already 16 seconds. I think if you don't pit this lap, you're going to be out of the question for the win. And as a result, we see everyone but IoT Crack here actually pit. And that's a very bold call. I know he has to double stack, but I'd rather take that honestly over having to drive in Inters conditions with dry tires like this. Bosnia going in. Let's see where Steban comes out then. He is actually going to be in a professional lead, and Ryan B is going to be professionally second here, coming out ahead of MCR, who has Glowstick very close behind there. McLaren going very deep. DRS disabled this time out. I've seen several other drivers I pitted earlier make a jump, such as Jav up to P8 here, and potentially handing down other drivers with Glowstick trying to make a move on MCR. Let's see where he's going to be able to do that. Still gets alongside on the entry of turn 4, but that's not quite the place to make a move. Waiting that he has to do. But I'm going to see how this is going to unfold. Mr. Ferro's now gone in as well, leaving Crack to be the only driver on dry tires currently. You know what, he's not crashed yet. I think that is probably a win. Jav has got a 3-second time penalty there as well. Yellow flags here. Energetics has spun halfway down the straight. Impressive. He's going to have to come back in behind Mats there. As Floyd and Amsterdam also getting a 3-second time penalty. Axel's retired in the pits here already. He's already nearly a lap down from Crack, who is surely going to have to pit this lap. Yeah, he does. So he was losing seconds on the likes of Steban. That's no surprise. Glowstick is having a look on the back of MCR. It's going very close to get it there. He looks a bit more comfortable in the wet, but still having these slides is not can't be a nice way to drive. Even I'm saying that. If people are watching and they know my driving style, they know exactly why that is quite bold coming from me. But Crack is going to rejoin still in 7th place. Going to be close with Jav here on exit potentially. Jav carrying a bit more speed here down towards turn 3. We have a yellow flag and a safety car. Oddly enough, we have a safety car, and I'm not quite sure what that's for. Is it for Axel retiring? Potentially? Because that would be around Jameshead and Slayer. You have to be careful, just don't drive into the back of the car. It's gonna go straight on here. I think it's gonna park off to the left then. I'm quite unsure what is going on with these. I'm not sure why this car is driving all the way here. So my end, Axel has retired, but not quite sure what the thing is there. Energetics has pitted and not changed his wing, which means you have to have it set to no. That's Axel has said in the chat, this effing game. I'm presuming something is wrong on that end. I'm not quite sure what's going on because his car is still driving. That's the old thing here. So what's actually going on? I'm a bit unsure about. Steven hopefully just catches up to the safety car now nicely, but let's hope there's not too many issues going on in the lobby or anything, because I wouldn't be surprised at this rate of Codemasters. Let's see. So Steven has now caught up to the safety car and is driving, so hoping all issues do get resolved soon enough. Yeah, both Greek drivers currently out of the race, and I'm not quite sure what. I know what happened with Arnoak. He reversed and DSQ'd, but again, that said, it retired later on as well, which got me a bit confused. At the same time, Axel, seemingly his car is still driving around. Actually, it's not, is it? I'm not too sure. I think that's Swayros now. I could be mistaken, not gonna lie, but what's actually going on with Axel, I'm not too sure then. So, Crack and Camcave switch positions there, oddly enough. And hopefully it doesn't cause any penalties here. That seems all good for the time being. So let's go for the order of that pretty chaotic race so far. It's only lap 7, but it feels like we've been here for an eternity. Steban is in first place, leading this Grand Prix ahead of Ryan B in second, due to stopping just a lap earlier on our virtual safety car. Ahead of MCR in third, and Glowstick in fourth, having a pretty decent debut so far. Major Falcon in fifth, Camk in sixth, and it's Crack and Jav with penalties, both in 7th and 8th. Then it's Bosnia in 9th, Swyros in 10th, with James in 11th. Then it's the two Haas drivers of Slayer and Swip in 12th and 13th. Eagles Matt's going to be allowed to catch up, and actually, I'm going to have a quick look, that's not on here. Apologies, there it is. He is the first driver to have made 2 stops, as well as Mr. Burrow, Flip, and Energetics. So far, Matt, I don't want to say he could go to the end, because 20 laps on Inter is a long way, and you're going to lose a lot of pace. So I don't know if that's the right way to go, but he is in a position where he can do multiple things. We're going to have to see about that. Honestly, I'm not too sure if that's going to be any benefit for him. Mr. Pearl in 15th, Flip in 16th, and Energetics in 17th, leaving 17 drivers in the race. Energetics need to hurry actually to catch the safety car, because I don't think he is at this point. 41 seconds behind after a tremendous amount of pit stops. So let's see how this is going to unfold later on. Yeah, Axel out in his frustrations in the chat, breaking his way and getting a drive through, everything together, just not having the greatest day here, and yeah, that's gonna be it for him. I think currently MCR is still in a very good spot. Obviously, when I compare it with Camke tried going on the soft at the start, didn't quite work out because obviously it's quite a difficult track to overtake if you don't have low downforce setups. So it didn't quite work out. He's still in a position where he could challenge. Obviously in the rain, it could actually be a benefit of him to have a bit higher downforce, which is what he seemed to have compared to Major Falcon at least. But I'm not quite certain if this is going to be enough to catch MCR. But we'll have to see. Obviously they're still very close in the championship. 11 points between them, which have been outstanding so far. Swip and Flip are deciding to go into the pits once again. Why? Swip, I can maybe understand he's trying to go to the end. So James and Slayer have decided to pass each other at some point. Hopefully that's all sorted out as well. Flip, don't quite get it. Maybe they're trying to go to the end and they reckon they have a better chance of doing so by pitting only now. Which would be reasonable enough, I think. So now Energetics is going to be allowed to catch up to the safety car here in 15th place. With Swip and Flip just in behind, the 16th and 17th. Let's see if they're actually going to attempt that. Obviously, if Matt wants to do that, he's going to have to go a long way. And if you have a few less seconds, as Energetics has managed to pick up a 3-second time penalty under the safety car. I always find it intriguing when drivers are capable of doing that. Because there's absolutely zero gain in attempting to. Either you make a mistake by trying to kind of foolishly push too much, just testing the conditions, or it's just lousiness in that sense, where you just don't pay attention too much. Anyway, we're gonna restart on the end of lap 9 this lap, and Steven is gonna be allowed to lead it here. Today is gonna be quite a long one because sector 3 is a pretty long sector, so he's gonna have a lot of options to try and go. I presume it's going to be around the penultimate corner, which is just an easy one to try and create a bit of a gap, and more gaps even behind. He's doing it pretty quickly. Could go down to even to the line, but don't see the benefit of doing that around here. The long stretch is pretty long, so let's see where the Alpine is going to go. Slow down a little bit, around 80 kilometers an hour. Seems like he wants to go pretty soon. I think on the exit of this corner he's going to go. There we go, as Mr. Pro has now gained 2 position. No, he is still not gone. Made it quite long here, especially in Inskis. That's a weird strategy to go for. So Mr. Pro has now left the session, and Steven losing it there actually. And yeah, he's going to get passed here by several drivers. They have to let him back through. And it's almost free wide here. Oh my, jeez, there's a lot of action going on. MCR's gone right into the wall there, and he is going to be further down the grid. Potentially some damage there as well. There's more going on behind as well. There's a lot of mess happening. I'm not quite sure where that all come from. Major Falcon and Ryan B still side by side for P2. There's almost 2x2 here. Mercedes now getting up into the second position. Ryan B third, and it's Glowstick and Camke, followed by IoT Crack, Jav and Sway Ross. More side-by-side action. Camke making a bit of a mistake, I think, actually, and getting passed by Crack. And Jav's on the back here as well. With Sway Ross not too far behind. This is absolutely chaotic here. Bosnia is getting involved out of nowhere. Didn't even see him coming. So he's nearly wall riding there on the exit. And having to concede that for now. So Ryan being Glowstick and very close together once again here as well. The Alfa Romeo trying to muster up and move down towards turn 11. He's going to have a look, but stays behind. Smartly driven, I'd say. Let's see, MCR, is he down with bad damage? I'm not too sure. Yes, Bosnia has managed to make a move on Swayros, potentially making a mistake. James had trying to go for as well, but turn 13 is an audacious place to even attempt it, so he decides better of it. So he's MCR, yeah, he's going to go into the pits. Let's get that damage changed, I guess. Bosnia still in the back of Jav here, down towards turn 1, backs out of the move. Ryan B also not looking very comfortable in these wet conditions. And Glowstick and Crack are both trying to opt for a move here, but it looks like Glowstick has been the one attacked by Crack. Crack down the inside here. Side by side action into turn 3, and looks like Crack has shoved out. Looks like a little bit just there, but he is through into P4. And he's going to have the ripple of Ryan B next up here. He's got a lot of time to make up, of 6 seconds of penalties. Now, I have to say there are a few that I could get removed. There were a few on lap 1 on the exit of turn 4, which I know can be a place of where they can be unfairly given 3 seconds straight up. But with a Ryan B mistake there, losing 2 positions, and now having Crack and Glowstick in P3 and 4 ahead of him. He's now going to have his teammate very close behind him as well. Cam K in P6 now, and he's just going to let him through, actually, not even bringing up any sort of fight, with Jaff now down in P7. Steban has made a mistake here as well, and Major Falcon down the inside, but backed out of that one, and it looks like Crack has found an opportunity. He's found some sort of room, it's gone through, and now Major Falcon is losing more positions because Glowstick is alongside one as well. Going through the last corner here, and Glowstick is through into P3. Wild move there. Bosnia again through Jav. It looks like Crack is trying to opt for a move on Steban. Maybe the better exit here. So McLaren seems to have some pace in the wet conditions here. Steban struggling. The board with the McLaren. Here we go. Down the outside here. Switching to the inside. Backs out of it. Didn't quite have the room to go for a move. But now on the exit, he's going to get the switchback round the outside after turn 4. Bit of contact, another 3 second time penalty for Crack. As they go side by side almost through turn 5. It looks like Crack has got the upper hand, but a lot of penalties. Potentially able to get removed. I should say that. But professionally, I'm going to assume they won't. That's the way I'm going to go about it, because otherwise it's going to be too tough to keep up here. Jaff dropping back a bit from this train as Steban is coming back through on Crack here, actually. Potentially having more straight line speed than the McLaren. As Crack is trying to follow through here. Glowstick, Major Falcon all bunched up very close behind. Flip has managed to get through on Jaff here. James just following through here as well down the inside there. Jaff kind of being unaware there that the Mercedes was already up the inside there, but it looks like he got through quite cleanly. We have more battles for the lead. Steban and Crack still going at it. Glowstick getting involved. This is absolutely outrageous. Crack down the inside, late on the brakes. Steban trying to hold around the outside, still side by side there with Glowstick now. Glowstick around the outside to the final corner. Look at this. This is absolutely fantastic. Racing Glowstick, losing on the exit though, and he has hit Steban and then gone into the wall, and we have a safety car. And Glowstick has a 5 second penalty for a collision with Steban. Oh my. Glowstick just losing it on the exit there. And by that he swerved into the right, or to the right of the track, and then went into Steban, and then that just sent him into the wall. Nothing Steban could do anything about. However, Glowstick is going to have to get a wing change there, because his front wing is fully gone here. He's going to have to try again. And obviously the question arises, are people going to stop? Because this is the perfect opportunity to try and stop if there's no more weather changes. But if there is, it gets back to dry, it goes to full wet. Both ways, that might be something to stay out for. Get the track position on. But if you pit now, you have your 2 stops. So I suspect we'll see a lot of drivers doing that. Slayer's already gone and done that. I presume potentially wing change as well. Lost quite a lot of time. We're gonna have to see. Let's get Flip Namsram into a leading position if he decides to stay out. He's got fresher tires. Same goes for Energetic Swip. They're fairly close enough that they could gain a lot of positions here. MCR is a bit further behind, brings him back into the race though. So I think he'll be happy about that one. But let's see if anyone's deciding to stay out, or that we're just all going to see them go into the pits. Because obviously, if the weather stays as it is, it's going to stay as it is. Energetic's done this twice now under a safety car period, and I don't know how you manage it. It's very impressive to get penalties under safety car conditions. I have to lie. Flip has decided to pit. Are we going to see full west potentially? Because James is now staying out. Is he trying not to double stack? I'm confused. Let's see the tires. Everyone going on fresh inters. James gambling on wets. Energetics has now retired from the session in the pits. Well, that doesn't seem quite as necessary either. Strange way of doing that. There's seems to be a bit of confusion in the chat as well. What's exactly going on? But we're gonna see how that's gonna go. James saying, yeah, fault. Everyone else is gonna say how this. Something has happened here now. Swip has lost it. Slayer has retired for no apparent reason either. I'm confused. And now we have a 5-second penalty for Steban for ignoring a yellow flag. Because some people can't keep their cars on the roads. That's not ideal. Again, if he doesn't stop again, doesn't have to serve it, that is probably a removal, because it looked like Swip just lost it on his own, and that results in all sorts of things here. But currently everyone having made 2 stops apart from James, Jav and Sway Ross. They're gonna have to stop again. We'll see how that's gonna go. If they're maybe if there's another safety car, that will help them. If there's full wet conditions at some point, that will help them. Sway Ross is deciding now's the time to go in. Swip has gone in. Especially enough as well. He was in a good position. He had made 2 stops. Let's see what his plan is. Nope, fresh into it once again. Doesn't have damage either. Very, very strange decision once again. I'm very confused there. Because he was in a good position. His safety car got him into a good position, and now he's all the way back of the pack again. I mean, he'd have slightly older tires, but it's not quite something I would do anyway. Let's see, especially considering, you know, James and Jav here on 11 lap old inters. Trying to see it out, trying to do something different. Obviously in James' case he thought everyone's staying out. Jav probably is trying to do something different knowing him. So this could be a very spicy one. And all of a sudden there's certain drivers that find themselves in good positions. Such as Bosnia. He's in a net P4 with a few penalties up ahead. There could be something on the cars. His Flip has now dropped it. Are just all Dutch drivers dropping it today? Is that what's going on? Because I'm so confused. I'm sorry. It looks like we could go back on the way. This Ultimate Mr. Pro is rejoined, and the safety car is going to go back in this lap. Well, let's see how this safety car restart is going to go for James then. Wasn't too happy with the one last week, so let's see how he's going to do it. Hopefully a little bit better then. Holding a pretty steady pace, 100 kilometers an hour. Let's see where he's gonna to go. Right before the penultimate corner, he looked to go. I think he's too close to safety car to properly actually go for it. It's being throttle limited. Now on the exit of the final corner, he's gonna be allowed to go. There he goes. Bit of a scruffy one, but seems to be all good. As Slayer's left the session, we're gonna see Crack trying to go for a move potentially. Mr. Pro, I think, has rejoined now. See side by side with Swip here for a bit further back. Flip now retiring from the point position. Sure. Crack and Steven are both trying to get alongside Jaff, and there's a crash between Jaff and Crack. Jaff is out of the race. Crack is running once again as well, and we have it once more a safety car. Whereas Crack gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Bosnia. I think Bosnia got the same penalty as well. Yeah, this is not turning out to be a very good race. I guess it saves James that he can now pit pretty freely. Obviously, does go back quite a bit in the backing order, but at least save a few seconds stop. This is turning out to be quite the race here then. Let's see how this is gonna go. Thirteen drivers left in this race, and we're only just over halfway in as well. We've already our 4th safety cars. It's almost turning like Baku here already. Hopefully we don't get any more after that. Be very appreciated. Actually, it's the 4th. It might be the 3rd. I've lost count of this, right? I've seen too many of these yellow dots on the map. But I presume James is going to come in. And that is the fact. We're getting very close to that pit wall there. Crack has gone in as well, strangely enough. Is he going to go in for full wets, or is it... Nope, fresh inters once again. It does have front wing change, so that does explain it. Swip in again as well, off fresh tyres too. Well, will be probably less fresh tyres at this rate with the amount of tyres he's used. Oh no, another wing change there for the Haas as well. Now to freely get that, because he doesn't lose any position by it. And it's guaranteed 3 points as of right now, so it's going to be a pretty interesting ending. So 5-second penalties for Steban and Bosnia. I presume they are going to get removed. Especially Bosnia's, I don't think he has any fault in there. Steban I didn't directly see, but I don't think he has any fault in that either. Because he overtook Swip and those yellows, so I think that's all fine. So I'm gonna consider those removed. I'll say the 3-second ones, especially from someone like RT Crack, I'm gonna put a hold on. But just to explain that properly for anyone watching, oh, why are you saying it like that, or why is he in that sort of treatment? Why is that one getting removed? That's exactly why, because that's just the way I've seen it, so it's the easiest to do it that way. Obviously, I could be wrong, but from experience, that's what I'm going to go with. So let's see how this is going to go. I think we'll get restarted probably on the next lap. I don't think Swip catching up quick enough. I think the safety car has to do another lap in itself to get back on the way, but we'll see. The Haas catch up. Yeah, this is going to go one more lap. We get restarted on the end of lap 18 for another 11 laps of hopefully green flag racing, but nothing's guaranteed here at this point. Thanks for everyone who is watching and who's tuned in. Solo commentary. This has been quite the race to do so. Nothing boring about it, as Mr. Purr has now gone into the pits. Is this a strategical decision? Is this wing change? Is this wing change? That's what it is. Inters once again. So he's going to be at the back of the grid. He's going to be on all of this though, so that's not amazing. 9 lap old Inters. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be too happy about that one if he sees that. The tyre wear coming out, but at least he will have a good front wing now. So, unless he's going to have to pit again, but if the safety car goes in, you just lose a lot of time, so you might as well try to stick it out at this rate. And Steban back into what I would call the lead. Obviously, definitely the lead, but provisionally, I think as well. I don't see a way, unless he has to serve it under a pit stop. I don't see a way of that not being removed. The same goes for Bosnia probably here. And Kamke probably has to realize that. It could be removed at some point, but I don't know if he does. And he might race a bit more passively because of that. Not getting on the way just yet, maybe due to a few gaps here and there. Someone's leaving. Could be. There we go. Safety car is in his lap, so none of that is going to prevent anything from going out. Steven is going to lead once again. And let's see if we can catch people out once again as well. Having a pretty high pace here for the Alpine. Once again, has to be careful he doesn't get throttle limited, which he's going to get. You can't overtake the safety car, obviously. So what the game does, it's throttle limits you, so you can't go as quick to actually overtake the safety car. Shabs now left the session, obviously understandable after his retirement. The collision with Crack, waiting quite a long time is the Alpine. Still waiting, there he goes. And he has got a decent enough gap to Kamke to hold on the lead to turn 1. It looks like he's got a better exit here as well, as we're on board with Major Falcon there. Trying to get closer to Bosnia. Bosnia got a good exit though, so that's not going to happen for now. A bit further down, MCR now back into the race. He's going to try and get as many points as he can. This Crack has got past James Head there on the exit of turn 2, down towards turn 3. And up at the P10. That's a glow stick, I think has lost it. There's more chaos here. Ryan B and glow stick seems to be dropping back. Not quite sure what's going on, if they have any damage. But no proper crashes just yet. Just a few gaps and potentially a little bit of damage here and there. Seen further down now, a bit of a gap. Crack is now trying to move through on Eagles Mats. And he's in the P7. Looks like Ryan B is kind of okay. It doesn't look like he has much damage, if anything. So that's luckily. I think glow stick might do have damage. He did go left into the wall. And just easing off the pace. He is still in a point swing position. But he's now drifting. Yeah, there's definitely some damage on that car. Let's see how that's gonna go. Ecos Mats has gone in, strangely enough. Is this for a different tire, or is this for something else? Wing change? Yeah, wing change. So Matt's also with some damage. Glowstick is now retired from a points winning position. Someone should tell him the top 15 get points. So that he just missed out on 3 of them. And even more if if someone else retires or anything like that. Meantime, Steven holding on to the lead on track. Right ahead of Kamke and Bosnia, still the top 3, looking very solid so far after the safety car restart. Major Falcon dropping back a little bit further. Not too much so far though. Might get a better exit through here. Just a bit more daring on the throttle actually. Yeah, very close. Great run there for the German. Didn't even use much of his ERS either. So peculiar there. Crack is got past Swayros now for P6. McLaren looking very quick right now. And for anyone that is actually racing and watching stream, I would advise, keep in mind he got a few of those at turn 4. Don't know how much. But there is a possibility that can get removed. So, don't just see the 9 seconds and think, you know what, let him through. So James gets past Ryan B here. Ryan B maybe struggling with damage here himself as well. But not seeming very quick as of right now. Down to P9. Having to let James go immediately fully. Crack is going down the inside of MCR, getting past his teammate. The MCR not fighting that too much, I don't think. Let's see if Crack on those fresher inters can challenge the top 4 here so far. But he's got a little bit of a gap to close here, 1.4 seconds. But looks like he's very quick in these conditions, and then having the better tires as well. I think he's gonna have not much of a problem doing that. He's already look at that. He's already within 8/10 of Major Falcon here. He's going very quickly to the back of these guys. Kamke getting very close to Steban here, down towards turn 9. But not quite enough to take a spot in the wet often enough. So this could be quite interesting. Let's see where Crack is gonna try and go for moves, because even though he does have penalties, I still think people want to keep in mind, as Swip gets a penalty there, 3 seconds, and then a P10 currently doesn't look too great so far. I'm gonna see Crack using a lot of his ERS here. Try and close up to the German and right up in front of him. Maybe on the exit down towards turn 3 he could have a chance already. Although his exit doesn't seem quite as good enough for that. Actually, Major Falcon's exit is a lot better. Having a look, then he's at Bosnia, but things better if it waited out. He still has a lot of ERS to use. I think would be about a good time to use some of it, because you have a McLaren all over you, and if you can put a car between you and him, at least save you some sort of time. So this is going to go. So in the exit of turn 8, let's see who gets a better exit. Crack is a very solid exit there, as well as Falcon compromising with some ERS. There's Ver getting a free same time, but I think that's all irrelevant as of right now. With C United Crack closing up to the back of Major Falcon here. But not quite enough down towards turn 9. Maybe down towards turn 11. RT Crack, 210s this time. Major Falcon using all of his ERS to try and hold him behind. Crack is sending it down the inside. Late move. Major Falcon not really giving much space. And holds the position, but yeah, that's didn't seem as clean as it could be. It's a little bit of a dive from Crack, but isn't either much space given on either side, so let's hope that resolves itself a little bit. Kamke is getting very close to the back of Steven. I think for now he wants to sit behind. So you risk game to play in the wet. Obviously, if you're in the dry, you have DRS, sure. But in the wet, you need to rely on your own actions and your own driving ability fully to do this. So obviously, 7 laps, just under 7 laps to go. Crack going very deep actually into turn 3 there. It looks like he's still very eager to try and get through on the Mercedes here for P4 on track. And MCR will be that as well, obviously, in that championship fight. It's going to be crucial to get every point he can so far. It's using his Crack here, but he's going to run out here on the 10%, and then Major Falcon still has about 40. It's going to be even more difficult. With a lot of strategy this time. He's going to catch him up, Major Falcon. Crack maybe got a better exit though. He's going to have to use that because Falcon has the ERS advantage. For how long? If they're going to drain them both, then I guess you can't really have that advantage anymore after a while. You can only burn so much to try and defend. Let's see, for this lap, Major Falcon's held him behind. He had a little look there down the inside of 13, but that seemed very audacious to even think about that. Steven has now got a Kamke and Bosnia right on the back of him, so we have yellow flags for Mr. Pergo straight on nearly. They're about turn 11 or going round. You have to see. Kamke very close to the back of Steven, but not quite as close down towards turn 3. He's going to have to wait even if he wanted to do something there. But this is quite remaining in the status quo as it stands, so let's see, this is going to unfold even further. So yeah, back down this long straight here, and Kamke seems to have had an issue on the exit there, and Bosnia might smell a chance. They're nearly getting into the wall there, but both using their ERS to try and close up, and they're going to close back up to Steban, but I don't think Bosnia is gaining enough, and Kamke is putting his car where Bosnia can't put it alongside. That's perfect defending there for Kamke, but is it going to be good enough down towards turn 11 to head on board with NSX Bosnia? It looks like Kamke has used here on the exit, or got close enough to Steven that he couldn't quite do much. Crack though, down the inside of Falcon this time. The Falcon going fully off track. Might not be the clean one either, as he's now going to have to let MCR through as well. Sway Ross is not too far from it either. He goes very deep on the brakes, the AlphaTauri, but just about keeps it out of the diffuser of the Mercedes up ahead. He's top 3 is very close. Bosnia is now wanting to make a move. Kamke is being forced into getting alongside Steven because of that. Let's see who's going to be late on the brakes. Steven late on the brakes. Bit of contact on the apex there. Looks like it's all very close together. Kamke big slide there as well. Bosnia trying to get alongside here, down towards turn 3. The Williams is up the inside there, late on the brakes. Looks like Kamke is conceding that for so far. Probably counting on his penalties being removed. We'll have to see if he's gonna keep fighting that or not. But if he doesn't think about that, then keep standing as it is. Bosnia seems very eager to now get through. Let's see, this part is very difficult in the wet because you don't quite have to run there. I've seen Bosnia even hit the wall slightly on the left, showing how it can be quite treacherous. Bosnia using very wide lines there as well. Kamke losing a little bit of pace. He's going to have to worry about Crack in behind, who's now caught up to this train. Only 9 seconds of penalties, but again, you don't know what's getting removed, what's not, so that's always going to be a bit of hypothetical. Currently, as it stands, if you count out all future penalty removals, we have Kamke in the lead with even, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's MCR in second and Swayros in third, so you have to see how it goes. We still have 4 laps remaining. A lot of things can happen as we've seen. 16 people watching, thank you all. And hopefully get a bit of an exciting ending here. Bosnia thinking about a move, but backing out of that one as Major Falcon has spun, I think, potentially. And now retired in the pits. No. See, I don't even understand why. It's such a weird thing. You have 4 laps to go. What is the point in that? You can get a decent haul of points. You've already wasted, an hour of your life, if you want to put it that way. Is it really worth, making sure you don't finish those last couple laps? Is that really gonna give you that much more self-satisfaction? I don't know. That might be the way of thinking I'm doing it. Not quite sure. Crack is being allowed through by Kamke there. Kamke not really putting up a fight. We know Crack is going to try and go for it. Steban and Bosnia making a little bit of contact there. Steban have any damage because he seems very slow as of right now. Just holding his back up, and look at this, the top 6 is now right behind. Swears has picked up a 3-second time penalty, which is going to hamper his chances of getting a podium. Although as of right now, this pace is so slow, I'm not too sure. Is Steban actually have issues of some sort, or what's going on with him? Because I can't lie, this is not very, very quick. In a second, James could be allowed back into this pack. He'll be even hoping for a podium it is, right? And as it stands with these penalties, he is going to get it. But we're going to have to see. That's going to go. Kamke is looking back at Crack, but he thinks better of it for that one. MCR obviously now in the back, and he's going to smell his chances here as well. Obviously, tighter rivals, and overtaking is not just a 2-point difference like it normally be, but it's then a 4-point difference because the other person loses 2 as well as you gaining 2. So that's as this. Matt's getting through on Swip for P9. Credit to Mats for sticking out, unlike some other drivers tonight, for some very easy points. MCR still 2 tenths behind Kamke. Kamke seems to have dropped the pace as well. Not quite staying here with it. Don't know if there's any damage there as well, but MCR is definitely looking to go for a move here down towards turn 11. But he's thinking better of it. Backed out of it for now. And he's going to have to try it later on here, I think. So McLaren is still on the back here, but losing a little bit of ground here in sector 3. 6-car train. James nearly in it as well. So no DRS, but almost looks like one. Like a DRS train. So let's see, it's going to go 2 laps to go here of the Australian Grand Prix in Division 3. Steven leading with that 5-second penalty. Not sure if it's getting removed or not. Same goes for Bosnia. Same goes for a certain penalty from Crack as well. So definitely the stewards are going to have to work cut out, I reckon. Because it would be... I'd highly doubt someone would not try and get it removed at least. Which means the provisional race leads battle is between Kamke and MCRs, which is maybe something we'll have to focus on quite a lot then. Obviously, we're going to have a look at Steven and Bosnia when we can as well. So Bosnia is now using a lot of ERS to try and close up to the Alpine. He has a slight advantage, but when I say slight, it's a few percentage, and I think Steven is now just backed off a little bit. Seems to have a bit more straight line speed, the Alpine as well. Allows Bosnia to close up a lot through turn 9 and 10, but not quite gaining enough here down towards turn 11. MCR trying to still mess up a move on Kamke. The time is running out for the Spaniard. He's going to have to do it quickly if he wants to do it. It's Bosnia Steban still leading this train here as we head on towards the final lap for the final corner. Steban having a lot of issues there, and Bosnia wants to get alongside, having a slide of his own. But look at the straight line speed the Alpine has got. Just can't quite get that move done. He's going to have to wait, maybe down towards turn 3. He's got a lot more cornering speed, as you can see. He's just hounding the back of the Alpine, but the exit is then for Steban, and Bosnia having a big slide. It's going to prevent all of that as well. MCR waiting his chance as well for a potential provisional race win here as well. Bosnia sliding a lot now, coming through turn 3 and 4. Might put himself under pressure a little bit too much, but due to his downforce he could gain back. Still 50% ERS, he's going to have to actually use every last bit of it. The close is very much up to the back of the Alpine, and this time, is he going to risk it all? Using all the ERS here, he's going to get very close to the back of Steban here. Is he going to be able to pull alongside, or is Steban going to be able to defend this? Because the straight line speed is just not there. Down the inside then goes Bosnia, late on the brakes, and I think that was a little bit too audacious. They both stay alive somehow. Steban off onto the curb, and this might allow Bosnia back in. Crack is closing up very quickly as well. This could be very exciting now towards turn 11. It looks like Bosnia to the outside. Crack is sending it down the inside of both of them. That is absolutely outrageous. Yeah, that was way too much, and now Kamke and MC are going to left through. Let's hope they'll stay alive. More contact here, 3 wide. This is absolutely ridiculous. Look at this. What is going on here? Everyone's sliding side by side. We have a 5-second place penalty, 5-second penalty for Bosnia as well. Going to come across the line, and I think it's very noticeable why Kamke and MCR are the championship protagonists for this, because they've stayed their nose clean. They don't get involved with any of that, and they're on a 1-2 provisionally. Obviously, I know there's some penalties that could get removed. We're going to have to see about that. James are provisionally on the podium. Swayros, Steban, then Bosnia 6th, Crack in 7th, Ryan being 8th, Matt in 9th, and then it's just waiting for a swip. And Mr. Puro finished to be the last points paying positions here today. And if you look at the amount of stops here, you just see how chaotic of a race it was. Yeah, absolutely mental ending there. And yeah, there's a lot going on, and a lot of wrong standards as well. But you know, seeing 7-8 cars like that practically side by side in the end, don't exactly know what that was, because I don't think it was all too great. Oh well. So Major Falcon's actually left the server. He's seems to be a bit done with that. And there's some complaints here and there, and that's probably understandable with some of these driving standards, to be honest. Let's run through the results. Then Kamke personally winning this ahead of MCR, James, then Swayros, Steban, Bosnia, Crack with the fastest lap points as well. Obviously, MCR got the pole position point. Ryan Beat in 8th, and it's 9th Mats, 10th will be Swip, and 11th Mr. Burrow, which is all the point finding positions with, as well as Major Falcon DNFing, as well as Glowstick. Had a good first race, but a few things didn't go his way, and in the very chaotic race, it's understandable. Jav DNFing, as well as Flip, Energetics, Slayer, some of them retiring in the pits, which is presumably a bit foolish considering the amount of drivers that finish in the end. Axel in 18th, and then Heino work with his disqualification on lap 1, not making even the end of lap 1, and that is probably going to be that. Yeah, chaos is one way to describe that. Was basically as much as Baku was last week. A bit speechless here and there, but this is going to be some great footage there used for compilations, I reckon. Next week out doesn't get much better in terms of calming it down a little bit, because we go to Vegas. Last time out, that was a very entertaining race last season. I just wasn't able to stream the half of it. So next week in Vegas, that could be a very entertaining one, to be fair. Once again, so let's hope Cool Boy is back to see that as well. So it'll be very entertaining for the both of us here today. In terms of championships, I'm not going to say too much about it. I know CamK will still be leading it, unless he gets like a huge penalty or something, which I don't think he's done. I think to him and MCR very much credit to keeping it out of everything and just making sure they get their nose clean for everything. And I think they're very well deserving of being the 2 title protagonists this season, and just showing why they're doing that properly. And obviously there's other drives that are completely fine as well. Let's not get that twisted. But every now and then get a little bit hot-headed, and that's is what it is. That's part of league racing at times. But I'll close the stream now. I'll see you out next time in Las Vegas. And I think you are Verstappen. I'll see you then. Goodbye.